viewers, so today we're going to be doing a service on my CLK 320. I've had this car for about a year now, and I'm just starting to use it a bit more. It was parked up, but now I'm starting to use it, so I want to give it a full service. The car's very low mileage. It's a 2000 car. The chassis is a W208, so it's the first generation CLK. It's only done 29,000 miles from new, and I bought it from the first owner last March, so March 2023. I've only done about 1,000 or 1,500 miles since then. So this car has a 3.2 M112 V6 engine, so the early 90s Max 3.2 was a straight 6 M104, and then they changed their engines to a V6. So this has the 2 spark plugs per cylinder, so obviously 6 cylinders, they have 12 spark plugs, so I will be doing a spark plug change, but for now I just wanted to show you the car and the engine. First of all, I'll be doing an air filter change, which obviously is in this box here. Coolant, brake fluid, engine oil filter, top up the engine oil, screen wash, and power steering fluid is just there. I will be changing all these in sequence, and I hope to video and show you as I go along, but for now I will be starting with the air filter. So I have a man filter here, which is probably the OE equivalent, so OE's original equipment from Mercedes-Benz. So basically when you go to Mercedes, you'll be buying a Mercedes part, just with their stamp on it, but the actual part, the actual filter itself, is either going to be probably MAN or Kangst, and basically they have their Mercedes stamp on it and they charge more for it. So I just picked this MAN filter up and I'll be changing this to a MAN filter. So all you do is very straightforward. There are some tabs here, so you'll be lifting them, taking the tabs off. All around the filter box. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs, and then one on top. And it should just easily come away, like so. And as you can see, this is the old air filter, which the car has been regularly serviced, but I'm sure it's going to be dirty, as they always are. And as you can see, this is a genuine Mercedes part, Germany, and it is in fact a MAN filter, because that's the same MAN part number as we've got here. So we've got C30195/2. As you can see, we have the same here, just with a Mercedes-Benz name and their stamp of their logo, and obviously you'll be paying more, but the actual parts are the same. As you can see, this is in really, really dirty condition. It's not good. And the new one, as you can see, is nice and clean. So, I mean, you can see straight away the car's going to be running a lot better just by changing that. So this is a really simple thing you can do. It literally takes minutes, as you've just seen, but yeah, the difference is quite huge. So obviously installation is the reversal of removal, so you just put it in like so. Make sure that the filter is seated correctly in the filter box, all around, and once it's seated correctly, you simply replace the cover, the top part of the cover, like that, and redo the tabs. That's 1, that's 2, That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. And we'll put this coolant pipe back. And this one. That's 6. And make sure that this tab, metal tab on the top and the bottom are correctly fastened. That's it. You will have changed your air filter. So we're now going to change the cabin filter. So this is the filter really for the air conditioning system. This is often actually overlooked as part of a maintenance item on a lot of cars. People don't know or don't change it, or they rely on a garage to change it and they don't actually end up changing it but charging the customer, sadly. I've seen that on numerous cars where things have been claimed to be changed, but when I come to change them, they're filthy and it's very clear that these items haven't been done before. So we're going to change the cabin filter. Again, I've got another filter, a man filter. This is likely to be an OE part, so the Mercedes part as per the when it was new, just without their stamp. It'll be interesting to see what condition this is in, and without much further ado, we'll get on with it. So there are just 3 fixings on this car. This is the CLK, the W208. So there's just 3 screws, and then that panel comes down, and then it should be a matter of undoing a panel within that and changing it, but I'll show you along the way. So as you can see, once the screws, in this case the 3 screws, are taken out, the panel simply slides out and you're left with underneath the glove box, this is what it looks like. And what you're looking for is this box just here. There's 2 tabs, so I'll wait for the camera to focus. There's a tab here and a tab here, and we'll need to basically loosen these tabs so this one slides this way and this tab slides the other way, as in this way towards the front of the car, and this cover will start to open. And hopefully come out. Like so. As you can see already, it's not looking great. There's a lot of dirt here. And the culprit in question is this filter. So usually when we start trying to take this filter out, often a lot of leaves and debris come out with it. So I'll just do that now and show you. So as you can see, we're starting to remove it, and you can already see all the debris within the filter, so it really is not looking nice. And it's just a matter of pulling the rest of the filter out. The filter out, and the easiest way to tell, as you can see within each of these filters or the grooves, the debris. So this basically filters the air into the cabin of the car, and if this is dirty, the air in the cabin is not going to be obviously the cleanest coming through. Yeah, this filter's definitely past it, but as you can see, this is another Mercedes-Benz part, and in fact it looks like the OE part for this is a Valio, but that's the Mercedes part number. So yeah, I don't know when this was last changed without looking at the records, but it's well due a change. And the installation is simply the reversal of the removal, so I would just be sliding the filter back and placing this cover back like so, and it goes this way with this plastic groove or this plastic piece going towards the footwell carpet, and it pushes up and the tabs just go over the plastic flap to stop it coming out. And that's it. Again, a nice simple serviceable item that's often missed, probably because of the location, and a lot of people think it's not needed, and it doesn't take long at all. So because this is pretty dirty, I'm actually going to go and wash this and come back and reinstall it. I'm a bit like that with my cars. I like things to be clean, so yeah, it's all pretty dirty, so I'm going to go and wash it and put it all back. See you in a minute. Right, now, so this is all nice and clean again, so I will go ahead and refit this. So once the filter's in and the cover's on and the two sliders are put back, that's how it should look. So everything's sealed and secure and all nice, put back together. So the only thing left now is to put the cover, so this cover back, which is literally making sure that these tabs here correspond with the fixings under. So here and here, make sure that they go in, and literally doing the three fixings, 3 screws up, so one here, one here and one here, and that's it. You'll have changed your cabin filter. So once you've put back the screws, you're all done, and that's it. That's how to change your cabin filter on the W208 CLK. Hi everyone, so we'll now be doing an oil and oil filter change on my W208 CLK. So these are the things you'll need to obviously do this. So we have engine oil, an engine flush, engine oil filter, various wrenches with different size sockets, oil filter removal tool, drain plug and copper crush washer, a torque wrench and an oil drain container. So I've here got 10 litres of Mercedes-Benz engine oil 5W30. I picked this up from my local dealer. The M112 engine takes roughly 7.5 to 8 litres of oil, so you should have a couple of litres left over once it's done. I also like to use an engine flush. In this case we have Liqui Moly engine flush. This is a litre of engine flush, so Liqui Moly state that 500 mils is sufficient for 5 litres. So I'll probably be using about 750-800 mils worth of this in the existing oil, turning on the engine, bringing it up to temperature, then draining the oil and removing the oil filter, and obviously replenishing it with a new oil filter and engine oil. Oil drain plug and crush washer, and engine oil filter, so that's the new oil filter, and we also have new O-rings for the oil filter housing, which we will change. And this is a half drive ratchet with a 22mm socket on it, so with a genuine Mercedes-Benz oil filter housing tool, removal tool. So basically this slots perfectly in here, and it enables you to remove the oil filter housing really very simply without damaging it. So I really recommend this product. You can pick this up from any dealer, and it will work on a variety of Mercedes-Benz engines, and it wasn't that expensive, so I really recommend that. The part number, if anyone wants it, will be A103-589-020900. And I also have a 3/8 drive ratchet with a 13mm socket on the end. Now this is used to remove the old drain plug and obviously install the new one, so that fits perfectly. And you'll also need an 8mm socket. Now this is used to remove the engine under tray on the car, so I'll show you how to remove that with the 4 8mm fixings on there. And an oil drain pan, so I have 2 here, so this is sufficient for about 10 litres of oil, so that will be enough for this. And a torque wrench, which I torque the new oil filter up to on the car, which is 25 Newton meters, and that's what you will need. So we'll now be adding the engine flush to the existing old engine oil. So to do this, you just simply open the oil cap. You will need a funnel, I forgot that earlier, and I've actually drained 250 mils out of the 1 litre oil flush, so there's 750 ml in here. So you just simply add this to the existing engine oil, like so. Once that's done, you can replenish the oil cap, put the oil cap back on and start the engine and idle for about 10 to 15 minutes. And once that's done, turn off the engine and we can drain the oil. So now the car's been idling for 15 minutes with the engine flush, we'll go ahead and turn it off. And we'll first remove the oil filter. The reason we remove the oil filter first is so that the existing oil within the oil filter housing can drain into the oil sump. Lots of people do this last, but what happens is the existing oil in the oil filter housing doesn't drain to the sump, so you know it's good practice to remove the oil filter and change the oil filter first to allow that to happen. Just purely for access, we will go ahead and remove the engine cover. Now on this car it simply just pulls off like so. And we'll put it to one side. So once we've done that, we'll go ahead and remove the oil filter and oil filter housing. And it should just come away really nicely. As I said, this oil filter tool is really a lifesaver. It saves a lot of time and hassle trying to do this with other tools, because this just fits first time. So take your time with this, because its engine oil is hot and it has the tendency to splash if you're not careful. So once you've loosened it, it will just lift up and out, and yeah, it's already draining to the sump. So I'll take this to one side and I'll replace it with a fresh oil filter, change the O-rings on the housing. As you can see, there's one here and there's a few here at the bottom, and I'll go ahead and clean the oil filter housing and change the filter and put it back. So underneath of the car you will see a plastic engine under tray, and as you can see there are various fixings. So there's four, there's 1, 2 and 2 at the back of this tray. So you need an 8mm socket and you basically need to remove them, and the plastic engine under tray will come loose, and you'll be able to get to the bottom of the sump to get to the 13mm drain plug to remove the oil. So once you remove the plastic engine under tray with the 4 8mm bolts, you will see the sump, which is here, and the oil drain plug, which is here. So this is a 13mm drain plug, and you will simply get your socket and you will loosen that and drain the oil. So once we've removed the old oil filter from the oil filter housing, we can now drain the old engine oil. So take your 13mm wrench, and usually it should, there we go, come undone. So luckily this one wasn't held on very tight. Make sure you have your drain pan and be ready, because it is very hot when this comes out. Obviously it's been a running engine, and any second now we should have it drain. And there we have it. Yeah, that was well and truly due an oil change. So I'll allow this to drain and see you in a second. So once the oil has all drained out, you'll be able to see straight away, because it just starts dribbling at a very, very slow rate. You can take your new drain plug and crush washer and tighten this. Always start the tightening by hand, because you do not want to cross thread this. If you cross thread this, you're in a lot of trouble, because you're going to have to recreate the threads. So always hand tighten it like so, and then you can just take your spanner and tighten it afterwards. So we'll just wipe the excess oil. So we can take our 13mm wrench, and I never ever go too tight with this, just tight enough just so you can just feel the crush washer engaging like so, and that's it. You don't need to do this so tight, because when you come to change it next, you want to be able to open it. And that's that. So you're all done here. The only thing you have to put back now is the engine under tray. So once you're happy that everything's back with the oil drain plug and everything's cleaned up, you can go ahead and put back the engine under tray, as you can see. So the 4 8mm bolts have been put back. Now that everything's done underneath of the car, the drain plug's done up, the under tray's on, the engine's drained of oil, the old oil filter has been taken out, everything's drained. I like to pre-lube the oil filter housing, so let's just add some engine oil. So we basically want to fill this up with some oil, just so that it's lubricated before we place the new oil filter in. So I usually add just a bit. And we can place the oil filter in and tighten it up initially by hand. And on the oil filter housing, it actually is marked with the tightness in newton meters we need to tighten it to, so 25. So we get our oil filter tool, put it on, and with our torque wrench make sure it's set to 25, and we just go about tightening it. And then this will ensure that it's tightened to the correct torque. And that's it. As soon as it clicks, we know it's reached the right torque, and that's the oil filter housing put back together. So now we can go ahead and top up the engine with engine oil. So as I said earlier, it takes between 7.5 and 8 litres. So I've put roughly a litre in the oil housing. So we will use this entire bottle of oil, this is 5 litres, and add another 2 litres, and then I'll measure the engine oil with the dipstick, and then slowly top it up as needed until we reach the right level, and then that's our engine oil all changed. So once you've added enough oil, so I've now added 7.5 litres, and I'm happy with the measurement. So I like to have it in between minimum and maximum, so it's not too full and obviously not on the minimum, so that's pretty much spot on. You'd have done your oil change, and it's just a matter of putting back the engine cover, which simply just presses on top from the fixings. Like so, and that's it. You'll have done your oil change. So the last step to completing the service is to reset the service indicator. So make sure you're in the car with the doors closed, and then go to the key and turn it to position 2. Obviously you'll see now my service has exceeded. That's because the car was sat, as I said before, and it wasn't being used, but now we've serviced it, we need to reset it. So using the steering wheel buttons, if you come out of that message and go through, and using the buttons again, find the service screen, and then the R button here on the left of the instrument cluster. If you hold that down, you'll then get another message appear in the dash. Do you want to reset service interval? Confirm by pressing R. If you hold R down, again it beeps, and then as you can see, service interval has been reset, and now it's back to a minor service, service A, with 1 spanner in 10,000 miles. So that's how you reset the instrument cluster on a W208.